Okay, peeps, just as a reminder of a couple vocab words we're going to use today and continuously. Adjacent angles are angles that share a side and a vertex, so they have to be touching. So in a diagram, that's what you're going to be looking for, something where they are sharing a side. Not sharing a side, not going to be adjacent. Angle bisectors are if we are dividing it into two congruent angles. I'm going to show an acute angle, but it works for all of them. So each of these maybe is 30 degrees. If we have the same measure on both sides and it's adjacent, then we have angle bisectors. If it's not touching, again, it's not going to be an angle bisector. Vertical angles are going to show up a lot, so get very comfortable with looking at intersections. At the intersections, they are opposite of each other and they are equal to each other. So on our first day together, actually taking notes, we talked about there's a pair of acute vertical angles, each of them were 25. And then the other set of angles, I'll just call these ones 1 and 2, they would also be congruent. So remember, you can name an angle with just a number. Okay, if they are not crisscrossing perfectly, okay, let's say it looks super weird, none of those angles are congruent, you don't have any vertical angles. Complementary and supplementary, I'm hoping we already kind of know or have seen. Complementary angles add to 90, so they make a corner. You're going to have two angles, let's say this is 50 and this is 40. You're going to have two angles that add to 90. If they don't add to 90, they're not going to be complements of each other. So if we have two angles that are both 10 degrees, that's just not going to work. Or if you have an obtuse angle, it's too large to match the pattern. Supplementary makes a nice straight line. So either they're going to be a straight line in the picture, or they'll give you angle measures and say this is 150, this is 30. Either of those is supplementary. They just have to add to 180. If it does not add to 180, it's not going to be supplementary. So if we have too small of angles, that's not good. Or if you have, let's say, 10 degrees plus, let's give it another example, plus like 180 degrees. If you have a straight angle, it's not supplementary. If you try to add it with something that's too big. Here's how I remember it. I remember it simply with looking at the first letter. Some people like to remember that C comes before S. So you're going to have complementary 90 degrees before supplementary 180. Okay, personally, my brain likes it better if we have a corner or we have a straight line. Where C and S, C is for complementary, S is for supplementary. So if you need a circle, highlight those. Those are going to come into play. They came into last night's homework just because I was curious what you knew. The last one on this page is linear pair. This one is picky for good reason. It's a line made up by a pair of angles. So if you have a line made up by a pair of angles, they have to be touching. If it's not touching, here I'll make these 90, this is an acute and obtuse. If they're not touching, then you know what? You don't have a linear pair. They have to be touching, and it has to be a pair of angles. It has to make a line for you. So again, not touching, not good enough for us. Okay, so just be careful. This one's particular, but it is used even more than supplementary a lot of the times. Okay, pause the video where you need to, peeps. We're going to truck along. We're going to look at the diagram. It says name all the vertical angles. I've already written that angle 1 and angle 2 are vertical. The other pair of vertical angles are angle 3, and I'll put 2 arches there to show that it's different than 1. And then we'll put 2 arches on angle 4. So opposite angles are congruent. You could say that this is 30, this is 30. The other angles have to be linear pairs with your acute. So 30 plus 150 is going to make your linear pairs. So with 1 and 4, they should add to a straight line. I'll check this off so you can see where I'm at. Angle 1 could also go to the left direction to make a straight line, so we could do angle 1 and angle 3. So I'll check that one off. Angle 2 and 3, so going up from angle 2 to the left, that makes a nice straight line, and then 2 to 4 also makes a straight line. And just double check. You only have so many options because at an intersection you only have so many options. Pause where you need it. We're going to do some solving now. This is the type of diagram that we might see on like a test or quiz. Again, show your work, that's a point, and getting the right answer is a point. With this one, they do ask for the vocab as well, or I ask for the vocab. So you need to have vocab, work, and final answer. So for the vocab, we can do the X first. The vocab for the X value, it looks like it's right beside that 144 making a straight line. So it could be a linear pair, or you could also say that it's supplementary. Knowing the vocab helps me know how to set up the equation. So how to set up this equation would be 3x plus 144 would equal 180. Supplementary and the line are both 180. When we solve, make sure that you are treating both sides equally. There's nothing to combine on the left side, so we're going to take from the left side, take it over to the right side. We got 3x equals 36. Divide both sides by 3, being fair still, and I got x to be 13. So you can always plug that back in and make sure it actually works. So 3 times 13 is going to give me 36. 36 plus 144, that's going to give me 180. The next one to me is even nicer. These ones are going to be our vertical angles. So they're at an intersection, not touching each other. So that you could also call them opposite angles. So we're going to use vertical angles for this next one. Sorry, I ran out of space. Right where you need to. I'm going to shorten it to the angle symbol, just because, again, ran out of space. These should be equal to each other. So you should have 2y minus 5 equals 95. Add 5 to both sides. Let me use a different color. I don't know if yellow is going to show up nice. Okay, sorry. Add 5 to both sides, then I get 2y equals 100. Divide both sides by 2, and you get y equals 15. Okay, if I plug that back in, that would also equal 95. So we have perfectly equal angles, and that's what you want at an intersection. With B, I want to talk about what vocab we would use and give you the setup, but I want you guys to try it out. So with B, those make a nice corner. If they make a nice corner, they're going to be complementary, or 90 degrees. So you would have x plus 4 plus 3x plus 2. That should equal your 90 degrees. Try solving that. I do have the answer key posted on It's Learning for you. With example 7, the vocab word is written in there, so you have to sketch it out. Supplementary makes a straight line, so we have angle A and angle B. They tell me angle A is going to be 6x minus 1, while B is going to be 5x minus 17. Again, I'm going to do the setup, and I want you guys to find the two missing measures. To do that, you have to find x. So for supplementary, we're gonna do 180 for your total. The two small pieces are 6x minus 1 and 5x minus 17. That's gonna equal 180 for you. Find the value of x and plug it back into both the angle A and the angle B equation. Just double check at the end that they equal 180. For B, it says we have KM, the ray KM is bisecting angle J to K to L. So again, connecting the dots, K should be your vertex. They say that angle JKL, the whole angle is 72. So if we are bisecting it or cutting it in half, we just do a nice little division problem. Angle JKM should be exactly half of angle JKM. So your small angles are half of your big angle. Half of 72 is going to be 36 on both sides. So the measure of angle JKM is going to be exactly 36 degrees. With C, we're going to do that one in class, so I wanted to save it. But if you wanted to see the setup, I know I made a mistake when I typed this out. You should have A, B is your vertex, D is on the ray, and then it should go D to B to C. So you have to change the second one for me. That was my mistake. And the mistake happened twice. So can you fix that for me? And if you want, you can try this out. I did not draw this to scale, but it still can be done. Let me know if you got some questions. Answer key is also on It's Learning to help you.